talking to Pete Hamilton, Randolph comes up a little bit short. I'll tell you what, I thought the effort in the second half especially was there.
Absolutely. Disappointing that we put ourselves in that spot. I mean, they're really good and they can really score it, but we did ourselves no favors, especially early. It was disappointing to see that, but we just talked downstairs. I think we made a choice in the second half. We got a little tougher. We played with much better pace at both ends. We finished some plays defensively. Rayvon, Bicky, Kyle, Micah, and Hunter were the lineup that started that for us. Rayvon dove on the floor. Kyle, I think, drew a charge, if I'm not mistaken. Obviously, we hit a couple shots within that, but Hunter and Micah were guarding some guys that are really tough matchups. And then Rayvon, Bicky, Kyle, Cole, and Hunter was the next lineup that just kind of continued that for us. And, it takes a hell of an effort to be down 21 points and cut it to 5 a couple times. And we had a couple chances there at the rim to maybe get it a little closer. But those guys specifically, I think, made a choice, and that was promising.
Going into the locker room, Cole hits that 65-footer right before half. Was that a confidence boost?
I'm glad it went in.
Right.
So it put us in a little better spot than we were in, but I don't think we put ourselves in a very good spot.
It seemed like things started rolling, honestly, when y'all got back in the second half. I didn't know if that was a morale booster or whatnot.
Yeah, I think we started the half okay. They were still scoring with us a little bit when we started the half. But we were down 14 at halftime, and I think they still got it back up to 21 there in the second half. So, I think it was a little later into the second half that some of those guys picked it up.
Pros, Landon, I think, is playing very well and can pop out a little bit. Cons, he's getting into some foul trouble. How can you kind of find a way in the middle?
Yeah, I think it's a different position for him to be in, but we have been working on it, and I think Landon has all the ability in the world to guard the ball off the bounce. He's an athletic dude, that he's long, and he has really good timing as far as blocking shots and bothering shots. I think it's just a little bit of a discipline thing, maybe a fatigue thing, and the discipline to keep the right position and keep your hips square and sit down in a stance. Because it seems like lately, especially going back to Shenandoah and Lynchburg, and it's like right when he's making a couple shots, when we're thinking, hey, we're about to go to him a little bit, and all of a sudden he's got 4, and we're in some tough spots.
A few final questions. Zach Lohman gets some playing time tonight. What advantage did you see of putting Zach out there?
Zach, good question. Zach, I think, earned the right to go give it a go because he's been defending really well in practice. Kind of what I was just talking about with Landon that we've been working on. We've been working on that with Zach too. He falls in that same position group, guarding more mobile players. And Zach kind of showed that, I think he could maybe give us a good shot at doing it over some other guys. And I thought he did a pretty good job. And tough spot for him to be in. He hadn't really been in the rotation at all, and we're asking him to go play against one of the better teams in the conference. And I thought he held his poise, and he kept it in front a few times. And I think his defense is what earned him the right to get in there.
Same thing with Kyle. Does his practice get him that start?
No, I think the way Kyle's been playing in some games and practice, like Kyle's been practicing well too, but he's also been in the rotation. And I thought that at Averett, I really don't think we had a very good team showing. I told Kyle, even while the game was still ending, that Kyle made a decision in that game that he was going to be tough. He was going to guard the ball well. He was going to play with some good poise. That's one thing about Kyle. He's a freshman, but he's very stoic on the floor. Not much rattles him. He has the ability to take coaching on the fly and quickly. Those little things, when guys can't do those things and they get rattled and flustered and frustrated in that chaos, it really hampers what they can do. And Kyle keeps his mind through that. And obviously he's got some talent. He can make some shots for us. He can get to that drive and use his body a little bit. But the number one thing he can do that gave him the start tonight is he can physically guard the ball and stop it early, and I thought he did a good job of that.
Final thing, Coach McHugh lavished the praise on Bicky, and obviously Bicky makes a difference. Notwithstanding his point total, how much does Bicky kind of help in terms of being back?
A ton. I mean, I think when we score, Bicky creates our scoring even when he's not scoring, and sometimes even when he's not assisting on the buckets. It's something that's really hard to get out of guys, and I think we're fortunate that Bicky has this to his game where his motor is just phenomenal, and he doesn't stop. And it's really, you can improve that as a player, and we watch film with guys to try to improve our movement, but there's only so good you can get at it, and nobody's ever going to be as good as Bicky's at it because he's got something else that's got nothing to do with coaching. His movement, his back cuts, his curls, his quick 2-dribble kicks, getting it right back on the get action. He just creates stuff for guys. He's got so much gravity to him. Obviously, it starts because he can shoot it, but if he was just a shooter and didn't move, he'd be nowhere near the player that he is.
Coach, always appreciate you. We'll talk to you after Saturday.
Yep.